What do you mean it's slow? Why, hello everyone. Things have changed. I set up my streaming stuff a little differently. As you can see, we've moved some things around. The hair is different. I'm wearing color for some reason. I don't know. I think it's probably because it's Friday the 13th before Valentine's Day. So I'm just feeling the feminine energy today, I think. I don't know. But thank you again for watching this. If you're coming from previous videos, I'm going to try to do a little better this time. This video I am so very excited about, and I could not wait to talk about it. I've only taken this long because being a woman and being sick and taking care of my wee babies, my kitties, I've been kind of busy and I haven't been able to sit down and research as much as I'd like, or even just get ready in the sense of being able to sit here and take time and talk to you guys. So I'm a little behind on this, but I think there's still a chance. We're talking about Iron Lung. I just felt like it was an awesome opportunity to talk about not only the game, but also the movie. It released on January 30th of this year, and it just felt necessary because this is my realm of expertise. If you didn't already know, I'm a Twitch streamer. I go live every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday around 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that's why we do this. I'm typically getting ready for stream, and it only felt necessary to talk about things that I really enjoy while getting ready, kind of just to be productive. And the fact that an indie game was made into a movie by a YouTuber just speaks volumes, especially to me. So I needed to talk about it, and I know the movie is not released yet. We haven't even gotten Blu-rays or DVDs or on the streaming services, but there's so much that makes me so excited for this project in particular that I couldn't help but still talk about the wins that it's currently still doing. By the way, it was only supposed to be throughout its first weekend, and it is now extended into, it looks like its third weekend. That's dependent on the theaters, of course, but my local theater is still playing it. So if you haven't watched Iron Lung yet, you need to. You really truly need to. I started with my base today. I've got my eyebrows on because I'm hoping that this is going to be a little shorter than my typical get ready with me's, only because I don't want to give too much information, and I certainly don't want to spoil anything for you guys if you haven't already seen it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, the things that I do tell you that maybe you haven't heard yet will, push you into those theater seats to watch it. I think that being an indie film on top of a recreation of an indie game is just something that I think needs full support, because we have so many studios and big conglomerates with their hands in these movies that it's just a nice breath of fresh air to have something so different. So I'm gonna get started here. I've got my mirror, my trusty mirror. I've got everything that I need, so hopefully it goes smoothly, and maybe I won't talk as fast this time around. Let's start. I don't want to do my eyes yet, so we're gonna start with carving out everything. So, Iron Lung, an indie horror game created by David Szymanski in 2022. It actually released March 10th of that year. I personally played it in May of that year, so not too much longer from its release date, and I much enjoyed the game. It is a very short, very linear game. It is very much a slow burn psychological game. And although it isn't your typical jump scare sim, I really enjoyed it. And so I was very excited to see that Markiplier took this on as a project. Its budget for the movie was just under $3 million, which I'm going to just give you a little disclaimer now. A lot of this stuff you've probably already heard, but just in case someone is watching that hasn't, I wanted to give that little information because, like I said, there's some big wins here. So excited. So, with a budget of $3 million, in its opening weekend, Iron Lung earned $18 million just in the opening weekend. It was originally supposed to start with, did I stutter? Oh my god. It was originally supposed to start with only 60 theaters, but come its opening weekend, it released to over 3,000 theaters. Not bad, right? In that first weekend, it was number 1 in America. And we just found out over a week ago, it remained a number 1 for its second weekend. It actually beat Send Help, which was a Sam Raimi film. Holy shit. So, like I said, there is going to be a hard copy release. Mark already said that in a live stream. And so that's why I kind of want to jump on this now and talk about it, because I would like to do a part 2 and give you guys even more information on its final amount of profit. Not only did they do this completely on their own, Mark hiring his friends, which is cool in itself, and if I can ever be in that position to do that for my friends and bring them onto a project that I'm really passionate about, bet your ass I'm doing it. And so I think that's just really cool of him. He believes in his friends that much that he brought them on to this project. But not only that, I'm going all over the place here, and I might go all over the place, you guys. It's just the excitement's really showing. Not only that, but there was a blood drive for certain locations and certain theaters, and the ultimate goal is to have over 37,000 donations all over the world. Mark said that just in the US there is a shortage of blood donations, and so the ultimate goal was to provide a charitable donation with his movie. And that, I don't know, that's just, it's just so cool. So, starting the movie, obviously Markiplier co-wrote, directed, acted, and edited this movie. He said that he started the script in September or October of 2022. He started that script, and then he started pre-production the following year around January or February. He thinks it maybe have been sooner, but he couldn't remember because everything is mushed together. If you don't already know, Markiplier is very much a busy man, running a YouTube, a merch line, having a podcast, and then he would do this movie on the weekends. So he was trying to balance life the best way that he could, but I'd imagine when you don't have a day off for over a month, it does tend to blur altogether. Okay, I'm trying to go for like a very like celestial Cupid type look, so we'll see how it turns out. Filming was 35 days long, and the reason why I mentioned that he was also an editor is that even on his off days, if he were to have one, he had the console, like the console of the submarine, from the set in his garage. And so he would go out and film those edits. If you notice, like, there was something not right, like the numbers on the console weren't quite right. The numbers on the console weren't quite right. He could adjust and film. And so he was learning himself. He said that he actually has wanted to do higher value content for a very long time. And so this entire thing was a learning experience for him. Oh, something I forgot. All my references are down below. Be sure to check out those videos. Slasher Radio provided probably the most information that I had for this bit. So go show them some love. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you watch the video. Okay. That's it. Okay. Do we have enough blush? It kind of looks like it. So as I've said before, he brought in a lot of his normal crew and friends along for the ride. He actually brought in his editors that did his YouTubes, did the podcast, all that. He brought them on to help with the project as well. He does want to make another movie. I know a lot of people are probably thinking that. However, he does miss YouTube and he wants to kind of get back into just doing YouTube for a while. He wants to kind of perfect the process of filmmaking. He wants to create a pipeline for himself, and he's going to spend about a year on that before making something else, because he did find some things that maybe could have been done a little bit more efficiently, and so that's what he wants to focus on currently. I know for myself, I would love it if he would pick up more indie games and do adaptations of them. I think obviously he did really well with this, and I think it's a niche that he already knows, and he has proven to himself and the world that he can do it probably better than most directors in the realm of video game adaptations. Am I right or am I right? I don't know. So, although he was independent, this kind of came to be by circumstance. Unfortunately, Mark, and I'm sure a lot of other creators think this way, he felt that content creators are not taken as seriously as most other people, and so he did meet with like other studios and things like that to discuss the possibility of a bigger budget and things like that, but he just felt that he had this opportunity that if he could fund it himself, he didn't need a large studio to help him. And to me, in my opinion, it goes to show a lot about not only Mark's character, but the way that, you know, for a lot of us are just kind of taken for granted. And if he can be that beacon of light for other content creators, and I'm not saying he's the only one that's ever done this, because there's definitely been content creators that have done these type sort of things. The first thing that comes to mind is Marble Hornets. You know, they started this story and it just escalated so big, so far. And so I think it just goes to show the big guys that we don't necessarily need you. If we do things right and we make enough that we can do it ourselves, we don't need you. When we don't need your money. So. But yes, he had the opportunity to fund it for himself, and so he took that opportunity, and freaking good for him. Like, holy crap. Mark said that directing and acting at the same time was very hard. He said he was basically sealed into that box, and so it was kind of hard to communicate with the team if things needed to change, or they maybe had an input, or, you know, help, I have blood in my eye, you know? So he just felt that was kind of hard to do, and you know what? Doing 2 jobs at the same time is kind of hard. And because I say blood in the eye, that leads into something else I wanted to talk about. They had purchased the copious amounts of blood prior to shooting. And so it sat there for a little bit in the warehouse for about a month and a half, Mark said. And when asked what the blood tasted like, he said it was awful. Can you imagine? So food grade blood is actually made with like corn syrup or glycerin, so it's very sugary, and when left to sit for a certain amount of time, it is going to start to probably ferment or just get gross, right? And so when they finally were ready to film, he managed to get hospitalized. And the reason for this was the cinematic blood would actually peel paint off the walls of the submarine, and it would actually pull makeup off of his face. And so the blood pulled his FX makeup, which has FX glue attached to it to keep it on your face, of course, and it dripped into his eyes because he had his eyes open for some parts of the blood. So that getting in there is very painful. It's not fun. He probably had to have his eyes flushed. Just not a grand experience. So when working with cinematic blood, if you ever have the chance, keep that in mind. FX and fake blood, food grade fake blood, mind you, do not work with each other. So, keeping on the topic of blood, fun, right? There was about 80 types of cinematic blood. So that was pretty interesting. And as we all know, Iron Lung beat records for the total amount of blood in a motion picture. There was 80,000+ gallons of this blood. And it beat out Evil Dead, which had 50 to 70,000 gallons of blood. The next runners were Dead Alive and Reanimator. Dead Alive only had 88+ gallons in one scene, and Reanimator had 24. So that's crazy to me that there's such a jump from less than 100 gallons to thousands of gallons of blood. That is wild. Oh, okay, I like it. It's coming along. So, enough about Mark. The developer of Iron Lung, there was some pretty interesting things that I found out about him that for some reason I was unaware of. I don't know. Where I was. Was I living on a rock? I don't know. Did I say on a rock? Was I living under a rock? What are words? I don't know. What are words? So David Szymanski made Dusk, Iron Lung, Squirrel Stapler, and The Pony Factory. So I know at least a couple of those you've probably heard, but 2 of which were picked up by Dread XP, a very famous publisher, in the indie horror space. So I should have known that, but for whatever reason I didn't know. I actually enjoyed Squirrel Stapler. It's just absurd. It's great. So it's worth a try, I guess. If you're into indie horror, it's definitely worth it. So Markiplier had announced that he was making a movie out of Iron Lung. Well, due to that, you know, with his 35 million subscribers, demand increased for the game. And so David actually increased the game by $2 after this announcement, and he got a lot of flack for it. And you know what? His response was amazing, okay? I hope to have that much riz, okay, when it comes to stuff like that. So they, you know, chastised him for the increase, and he said, you know what, if you're that mad about it, go pirate it. Like, if you're that mad over $2, go pirate it. Okay. And so they continued to, you know, come at him, and they say that he's only doing it for the money. And the response that they got, oh my God. It was perfect. Okay, it was perfect. You want to hear this? You want to hear this? Let me do this. Let me get this eye, and then we can move on. His response to them saying he's just doing it for the money, he said, well, no shit. Of course I am. I make games for a living. This is my income. This is my livelihood. This is where I need to make money. So no shit. I am doing it for the fucking money. Like, good. It's perfect. All right. So we just have lips and lashes to do. I'll go ahead and do my lips on camera. My lashes, I cannot. And I might add some more. I need highlighter too. I do have highlighter here. And I want to add little hearts, I think. So we're going to try that. Oh my God, why I want it open? Got it. It's fine. It's fine. I got it. I actually had to buy a refill of this. This is like one of my favorite colored lipsticks ever. And I finally was able to find it.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't.
Alright. Looking pretty okay. I think the blush is coming off a little orange. So I'm gonna try to add some pink in here. Is that good? Something else that I did not know about David is that he is actually the brother of the 2 developers that made My Friendly Neighborhood. So, that's pretty cool. A whole family of video game developers. Yeah, that's better, I think. And some blush here. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I think I might add a little bit. I'm going to put my lashes on and I'll be back with the final look. Alright, so here's the final look. I got my hearts. I kind of like them. I think I'll keep them. So, as we said, from around 10 a.m. this morning when I checked, according to thenumbers.com, the current box office amount for Iron Lung is over $34 million. For a $3 million budget, I'd say that's not too bad. And getting into my review of the movie, I would watch it again. And it could easily be one of my favorite horror movies. We were very lucky. My husband and I got a late showing on like a random Thursday. I think it was the Thursday after the release. And we were the only ones in the theater. It was awesome. And so it was kind of nice to be able to have a reaction when watching it and being able to sit there with someone who enjoys the same things and is like your partner. You know, you guys go to see stuff together, of course, but it was just kind of nice to have him there and be able to like have reactions and be able to like point out things that you want to talk about later. I was so excited watching it. Like, anyone that has seen it, I'm constantly like, what'd you think? Can we talk about it? Because more than just the fact that this was an indie film made by someone who personally funded it, the art of the movie is what really drew me in. And I never realized that I was that much into the cinematography of movies until a few years ago. And because people said that it was slow, I sit there and I watch it and I think, what do you mean? I get the slow burn, I understand that completely, but there is something happening in all instances of that movie, and you really have to pay attention. Unfortunately, as we have progressed through film and entertainment, that kind of gets lost, and you're kind of spoon-fed things in movies that you shouldn't necessarily be spoon-fed. Like, you should be able to watch a movie and put 2 and 2 together and be able to understand what's happening in the plot without it being so obvious. And this movie is very much a show, don't tell. I don't want to talk too in depth because if you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you. But the shots, like every single shot, took so much care and really showed the details of the story, not just the submarine or not just Mark being the only actor in the bit, but the close-up shots, the blood dripping, the way he wiped the blood on his pants. I know another person, I can't think of their names right now, but Mark actually talked about it in a live stream, talked about that specific scene because it just made sense. And the movie is very much true to the game. There are some bits and pieces that weren't part of the game, and that was fine. We could have easily cut out a few minutes due to those parts, but I don't think I don't think that it was necessary to shave off 10 minutes just to take out those parts, right? So it was just entertaining without a lot of commentary. So I think that's where people kind of get confused between slow and expecting there to be something happening every 5 minutes. And if only some of you could have saw me in the seat in the theater, practically jumping out of my seat. No, not really. It wasn't that bad. But I was like sitting there like, this is what we needed. And I really do think that this could change the film industry. And I hope it does. I hope that upcoming directors and other directors that have been doing this for a while take notes, because it was, I know it was what I needed. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, I hope you go watch it. It's worth it. It's 110% worth it. And due to its success, Mark mentioned that his team will get a very big bonus. So, I mean, you can always hope for that, right? So, I think it's something that was necessary, and because of the state of the world, and especially the US right now, it's just nice to have some good news to talk about. And so thank you guys again for sticking with me for not yet another Get Ready with Me. Don't forget to stop into the live stream and discuss movies with me. I'm all about discussing movies and food, okay? If you know anything about me, that'll get me talking. So, thank you again. I hope you have a wonderful week, a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
That my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety filling up every space, no privacy.